Hey, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and get started here. So Rome gets 67 bucks. And as you can see here, it's assuming one for the caravan, one for tribute, 11 for commerce, 10 for capital, etc. Well, we already collected the caravan money, so that goes away. So we're at 66. And then basically we're just going to do the deductions. So there's a deduction here because of the pirates. So we're not going to get the commerce income for this, but the monopoly prevented anything else. So the commerce for this is just $1. So we're down to 65. The heresy causes us to lose money. How much? I can't remember. I'm checking. It's -1 for the heresy. If it's yep, just -1. So that becomes, yep, 65, 66, 65, 64, right? Then we have a revolt token here, which is -1. And it's not minus the whole $2. It's just -1. It's written on the token. And it's also in the player aid that way. So that's another $1, so 63. And then there's a heresy token way up there, so 62. And the Frankie do have 2 territories, but they don't have any cities. The cities are how you make your money if you're the Romans. The Romans still have control over the area, and they get money based on the entire area. They get $2 of total control. So I'm going to take $1 off. So that becomes 62, right? 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, nope, 61. We're down to 61. And I hope that makes sense. So Romans get $2 if they control the entire area. Since the Frankie are in some of the area and inhabiting some of it, the Romans only get $1 instead of 2. That's the reason why they're down to $61. So 67 to start, -1 for caravan for 66, -1 for pirates, 65, -2 for heresy, 64, 63, -1 for revolts, 62, and -1 for the Frankies, 61. So Romans are sitting on $61. And, you know, since I have poker chips, I'm going to give them $61. So there we go. I just don't want to put that where the points are, right? Don't want to mix that up. So they have 61, and yeah, I mean, if they try to keep $40, that's great. But because they're in decline and aged, they're going to lose half of that before they even start their next turn. So now we're going to go ahead and deal with the limitus and, you know, things of that nature. So they can abandon an area, as we can see here. They are going to play their this for $3. Okay, so we're going to create a FOTUS situation with the Frankie. So we have to give up 2 more territories, and I'm just going to look to see what 2 territories the Frankie need to score more points. So I happen to have their sheet right here. And I know it's hard for you to see, but you can see Austrasia and Flandria give them points at turn 3. They already have those 2. So then what else do they need? They need Neustria and Salian gives them 7 points, right? Or all of Gallia Septentrionalis gives them 10 points. But Salians itself gives them 7, and Neustria gives them 8. So those are the 2 big ones. Salians is here, and Neustria is here. So they would give up one of their cities. But remember, the Romans control anything the Frankie control if there's a FOTUS. So we're going to go ahead and put the horde where the city is. And then they get to move their troops. So we're going to put troops here. And yes, they're going to keep their 2 territories they already have. So now they're controlling one of the cities. And the Romans technically control one. Oh, is this in the area or not? There's only 2 cities in the area, so the Romans are actually losing control of Gallia Septentrionalis. So they're probably going to want to abandon it next turn. But for now, we're going to leave it as it is, because the abandonment decision was supposed to be made later, and they're not allowed to decide until turn 3, according to the rules. It's on the play rate if you're trying to confirm that for yourself. So that costs 3 of the bucks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I have to be really careful because I want to spend a lot of money, but at the same time, I don't want to, because, you know, it sucks because you're going to lose half your money, but you have to be able to afford these cards. And that's where it's not very good. But I'm pretty sure the Limitus are free. Put back. So the Western Rome B auxiliaries, on turn 2, they get 3 infantry from the Goth and 3 from the Hero. They get 6 auxiliary units this round. Interesting. Starting with turn 4, a destroyed Limes counter has to be paid for, but otherwise they get restored. Okay, so let's look at these. Like, for example, this one's a Britannia one. I think it gets restored, even though the picks raided that area, it still gets restored. This one is Renus, which is somewhere in here. I'm gonna say there. I don't think that is it. It's the Renus River. So I think it actually goes here, where that pillage marker is, right? And one in Lotharingia. Yeah, and then Danuvius. And then there's still 2 more, right? Those 2 would go here and here, but the Franchi are in those spots, so they don't get rebuilt. They only rebuild the ones that that matter. And I think I got all the locations. Oh, excuse me. Okay, that was free. That didn't cost anything. And so it says here for recovery, remove any pillage markers from all of the nation's cities. In each controlled area, remove 0 to 2 pillage markers from an empty city. That's from raids. And then, of course, if you suffered bankruptcy, things happen, which did not happen for the Romans. And then we can try to subdue a revolt, which I know is off camera here, but that's the next section. And then, of course, purchases. They can freely recruit the barbarian auxiliaries once available. Limitus may be rebuilt at no cost. Okay, so here we are. We're sitting on 55, 6, 7, 8 bucks. And the Romans have some money. In fact, they have 13 bucks. So they can only keep 40 maximum, which would then drop them down to 20 when they lose half their money. So in other words, the Romans can't afford to ever reform. That's what's crazy about this. Well, they technically could. It would require income. Oh, we get 61 bucks, remember? that actually does become points. In fact, it's 61 times 2, so they actually get 122 points. Jesus. So I don't know how the other players are supposed to catch up, but I mean, the Romans are sitting here on 200, almost 300 points here. Somehow, through the course of 12 turns, they're going to lose their points and everybody else is going to get points. It's a really weird game that way, because they get 2 times their income. Okay, so let's keep going. The player aid has us, so if we want to buy any of these things, it's going to cost money. It's not an awful lot of money. And then as far as the barbarian auxiliaries go, like I said, the 3 infantry from the Goth and 3 from Hero. Now, it might be possible, because like, see, this has a B on it for barbarian. So that's one of the auxiliaries for the, and here it is. There's 1 infantry. Oh, they actually don't have to buy any. They get these. 1, 2. Yeah, they didn't have to actually buy any. They got these. So these are the 3 infantry from the Goth, and then these are 3 from the Heruli. I don't know what the Heruli are. That must be a nation that's not yet in the game. Yep, it's a yellow nation that wants to take Italy. So they don't exist yet. They come in turn 3. So, and remember, these guys, they're loyal, but they won't be loyal if they have to fight their own race. So the Gothi won't fight the Goths, which I'm assuming are the Visigothi, because that's hence the Gothi part. So the Visigothi is that big blue stack you see right there. So we don't want to put them there, but these guys we can put there this turn. And so what I'm going to do is, as you can see there's the Alemanni problem, right? The Caesar is stuck in Rome. He can't do anything from Rome. So we're going to put the Gothi here to prevent the Alemanni from getting through. And then we're going to put the Heruli there. So we're going to basically try to sandwich the Alemanni here with some troops and protect our border. Now this one here is the city, but remember, we're going to give that Treveria, we're going to try to give that to the Franchi. Once we abandon Gallia Septentrionalis, we're going to abandon them turn 3, and I think we're going to abandon Britannia as well, so we can get the Britannians and the Franchi in control. Okay, so that's the idea. I like the idea, so we'll see how that plays out. Okay, so we do have some nice defenses in place, and what that means is I don't have to buy as much as I thought I did. I thought I was going to have to, I thought I was going to have to buy all those units. There's nothing left to buy except for a boat, and the boats cost, I'm trying to find, oh, fleets cost 10. So if I spend 10, this gives me, this is at 40 bucks right here. So I have, let's say I'm going to keep 40 bucks. We're currently sitting on 13 bucks. This is all the money I have to spend. Otherwise I lose it, right? So let's say I'm going to put the Romans squarely on 40 bucks, right? So that way they have as maximum amount of dollars going into the next round as possible. And we got to, because we're worried about their being in decline, right? I still have 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I still have 21 bucks to spend. Now we can do like a sedition thing when an interception's announced. We can do, that costs money. Or we could do a mercenary, recruit one from a barbarian nation whose horde is adjacent or within one of its areas. So we can get like our Mauritarian one back. That costs 3 gold. We could do that, or we could just gain a gold right at the end. We did spend the 10 bucks already for this ship. So let's put the ship out first. I think what I want to do is we have Africa, so let's just put a ship there to help out with that. Okay, so the Romans got all their ships out on the board. There is nothing else for them to build. And remember, I already spent my 10 bucks. So this is in addition to all that. So the next thing is I spend $15 to fortify a city, right? That's one of my options. I thought there was something else I read you can do. Oh, if you're the Byzantines, you can actually increase the fortification of Constantinople. So yeah, I'm either... Oh, and then I can upgrade my elites. So let's make sure I don't have any damaged elite units out there. That's a good point. So let's check. Here's one. So that would be a cavalry. One cavalry needed to be upgraded. And that would have cost, it's half cost. So that would have been 5 bucks. So I'm spending 5 bucks right now to do that. So we took care of that. Oh, we lose 5 bucks because of the decline marker. And they had the 5 bucks. Don't get me... we don't have to go back and redo everything. But they did lose 5 bucks because of the decline marker. So... now they have 11 bucks left. They could fortify a city, and in doing so, they won't be at 40 bucks anymore. They'll be at slightly less, but that would be a nice way to not have to lose our money here. Or they can, like we said, they can hire this mercenary and get the Mauritanian archer back. I'm not sure how badly we need it. So, still thinking. Yeah, it's probably best to fortify a city. And I'm thinking Venice. Even though that territory is only worth a half buck, that's like the entry point into Italy. So if we fortify that, we can really make a difference. All right, so it's going to cost me 4 bucks off of my 40. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They're now sitting at $36 instead of 40. And yeah, we're going to fortify a city. And we're going to fortify Venice. So we're going to get all nice and strong there. And yes, they do get to remove pillage markers. So this pillage marker goes away. And that's it for the Romans. This is going to go away. The rebellion, that is next. So now we have to subdue rebels. It's not mandatory. There must be at least 1 military unit in the revolting province. So the question is did I have the ability to move that military after that revolt appeared? I can't remember. I think I did. So I'm going to assume that I moved a military unit there. All right, so we roll. So I rolled a 3. It says you add 1 for the military unit that's there, that's 4. -1 if it's under heresy, or if it's the capital area, that's under heresy. -1 if the national religion is different, none of those. Result. Holy crap, I should have looked at the table first. You lose a unit if you don't roll a 9 or better. So just going willy-nilly with 1 unit is not... I think that revolt marker is going to just stay there. I did not pay attention to the table on that. So you have to roll a 9 or better to remove the marker. If you roll a less than a 9, you lose 1 unit from those that are present. You get to choose, and I'm not going to lose my legion. And if there was just 1 unit, the leader is eliminated with a D2 check. Jesus. Okay, that's, yeah, that's not good. All right, let's keep going. We're going to go to the Byzantines now. We're going to do the empires first. All right, the Byzantines, let me grab their player aid. They do have their own special player aid, separate from the Romans. Okay. The 2 limitus facing Persia can be redeployed according to border changes during the reinforcement steps instead of the purchase step. So, for example, Syria, these 2 Syria ones, they can be redeployed like this. So basically, and this goes away, by the way. So basically what it's saying is they move. They don't have to be in the same location. They just redeploy based on where the Persians are. The other thing that we could do is we could put it like here, like that, to prevent them from going into... Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. They get $70. One of it was from Caravan, so we're already at 69 on that one. When the administration card forces leader inactivity, the emperor relocates to Constantinople and the unnamed Caesar to Antioch. Only the named Roman generals Asperus, Belisarius, Narcissus remain active and free to act. They weren't inactive though. They got the passive with the plus. And yes, that's right, they're not allied with the Romans anymore. Okay, they do get auxiliaries, so they get 4 of them, which I'm betting are going to be the 4 that are in the player card here that we got for this turn. Sure enough, there they are. Here's a Gothi, Heruli, Gothi, and an Allen. There's the 4 auxiliaries that they get. I didn't even realize that that was what those were. So they don't have to pay for those. Up until turn 7, a destroyed Eastern Rome Limes counter may be replaced during the purchase step by flipping it to its local Byzantine unit side. At a cost of 2 each. Previously eliminated Eastern Rome Limitus may henceforth be repurchased as mobile combat units called Thamata at a cost of 2 each. So we still have 2 more that are eliminated. Where were they from? Oh, Bosphorus, and then there was another Syrian one. So so we can flip these over, it's saying. But see, that says T8. So basically, these are going to be $2 each to rebuild. I don't know why it's saying to flip it to its unit side when the unit side says T8. So I'm going to assume that you can rebuild the I think they lost Sarmatia. Like, Sevastopol there is gone. I don't think they have that anymore. They can't call it their own. So that's where one of these went. So it may be replaced during the purchase step by... It says a destroyed Eastern Roman Limes counter can be replaced by flipping it to its local Byzantine side at a cost of 2 each. I see. I think they don't get to go on the board though. You're just buying the unit that will be available, and you can't make them available until turn 8. I think that's what that's saying. That's weird. It's just a really weird mechanic. Okay. So we can upgrade Constantinople for 15 bucks. We missed out on the Julian Persian campaign. Units with an area name are automatically redeployed to their area at the end of the military phase activation, but only if they're still Byzantine controlled. And remaining Byzantine units are automatically redeployed inside controlled areas. Okay, so I think that's all we need to know here. The guard and thematic units must remain within their home controlled area. That's what these will be. Those will be the thematic units. On turn 3, division in the empire occurs. Reunification is possible on turn 9. That's a long time, folks. Okay, my apologies. It's just that this is very confusing. So we get these for free, and the income is 70, and of course -1 for the caravan. We're at 69. So if you look at the Byzantines, they are not in full control of this area here, so that's -1 for 68. They do control most of the cities. They have 1, 2, 3 cities. I think there's a city here. Nope. That one, Amida, is under control. This one is not under control by the Persians. So what I'm trying to say is that they don't have full control, but they have, so they only get $1 instead of 2. So that 69 becomes a 68. This Sarmatia thing, they no longer have control of Sarmatia, so it becomes 67, 66. And let's make sure that they really did have control of Sarmatia. It said 6 areas. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yeah, Sarmatia would be the 6th. And we can verify this by looking at the setup, because they do list it out. No. Egypt, Asia. So they're saying they had Asia, Cappadocia, Greece, Moesia, and Oriens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They do control 6. So that city up here, Bosporus, It's a part of Sarmatia, but they never had control of it, I guess, even though that was the only city in Sarmatia. That makes no sense, but I'll accept it. So basically, they're still at $68, and they didn't buy any ships last time. So anyways, they're going to get 68 points. And all 68 of those points go to the same red player. They're sitting on over 400 points right now. It's a ridiculous amount of points. I mean, look at this. That's the red player points. That's over 400, easy. And then you can see yellow is sitting at 15. Blue has 20 something, and green has 3. I mean, I know that things might change, but man, oh man. I guess Rome needs to fall. Okay, so let me grab 68. All right, so they have 68 bucks, and let's say I want them to have 40. Right now they're sitting on 35 bucks. So if I just take 5 bucks away from them, the Byzantines are all the way up to 40, just on their own, without even lifting a finger. If I want to buy 2 ships, I can. Now, here's the thing about having, the ships don't help with monopolies, I don't think. So when you're in the income step, commerce, you get 1 per sea zone where you control at least 1 coastal city that's not in revolt. If you control all the coastal cities, you get the monopoly value as additional income. But that requires you to control the cities, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything as far as ships go. But okay, so let's say I do 15 bucks. I'm gonna flip Constantinople over to its 4 side. That makes total sense to do it while you have the money, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm looking, I mean, I have these marriage things. We could do 2 marriages. That prevents people from attacking you. So I can do it on Persia, which would then cause me to get one of their units. But it's their choice. We did lose 2 units, so we do need to rebuy these. So let's figure that out. And so I've spent 15 so far. And to buy these units, this is an elite heavy infantry, and this is just a regular archer. So I think the regular archer would just be considered an infantry. That would be 4 bucks. And then the elite infantry is 8 bucks. So that's $12. So 15, 25, that's 27 out of the 50, right? So here we are. This is what's left. These 2 units are going to go into the game. These would be 10 bucks each. Although one of them is elite, I don't think it matters. So that would be 20 bucks. Let's say I wanted to do the 2 boats. I don't know what that gets me, but I could do that. And I mean, I could spend the 1, 2, 3, 4 bucks to at least get these available. They'll be available on turn 8, but I at least paid for them so that they are available. I think it would be best if I waited until turn 8 to pay the 2 bucks. Don't need to do it right now. I don't know about like how the marriages will help per se, but if I do 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I can reinforce a city. So I think I'm going to at least do that much. and then pay for the 2 boats. I'm gonna get everything on the board, right, that I can. And so then I have $1 left over, which I guess I'm gonna forfeit. So how are we doing this? Well, let's do the fortified city first. So I think I'm going to fortify Damascus because it's next up on the chopping block here. So I can fortify that like that. I have these guys get redeployed. Oh, he needs to be upgraded. He needs to be upgraded. So we may have to go back and revisit that. So this is a legion. So 2 legions. Those are elite infantry. That would be $8. So I'm going to take back one of my ships, and I'll pay for one of these, right? So one of those is now available on turn 8 for us to use. They're a Thamada, so they will protect the home turf. So this one goes back to Egypt. So I'll go ahead and put him, I'll put him here in the Delta. This one goes to Asia, which is this area. So I got to move out of the way here. Remember, they go back to their area according to the, so Asia goes, so I can put him here. This one goes to Cappadocia, which means I can put him right here in that area. And then these ones are just normal. So they're going to go with the leader in Armenia. This pillage marker goes away. And then we bought an archer, which I'm going to put there. And then we got a whole bunch of barbarian units and a Syrian unit. So the Syrian unit's going to go with the archer. I'm going to put all the barbarian units in Phoenicia, like so. And then we're going to put our ship here to protect that. The ships so far aren't a big factor in this game, but okay, I think that's everything. And yes, they're at $40. All right, now we move to the Kingdom of Persia. And Persia, according to their player aid, they get $41. They already took their caravan, so that puts them down to 40. And they do have one city that's being pillaged, but that's fine. Remember, they get to remove this. This they already collected their money for. They ended up getting $5, right? Because they're a kingdom. And then as far as everything else, yeah, they're getting $41. I mean, that's I was just checking. They don't get money because they're not Catholic. The Catholics are the ones that get the money every turn, hence the reason why red gets it. And somebody mentioned that if you attack with 10 units throughout the course of your activation, so like for example, they attacked with 5 units this way and 5 units that way, and they eventually attacked with 10 units, they should have gotten 20 victory points. That's this little thing here, attacking Byzantine Rome with at least 10 units. They did that. So I am going to give them 20 victory points. That was, thank you for the comments, by the way. So I will give yellow 20 victory points for that. So, all right, so they got $41. So let's 10, 20, 21. And then they have 22 in their inventory. I'm sorry, 22 on the game board. So I'm going to do that. And let's say I set aside 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks, right? This would be what they have to spend this turn. And we said that they were going to be required to lose a unit after the purchase step. 2 units, in fact. So that's going to be annoying. And let's check to see if there's any elites that need to be upgraded. And the answer is no. Okay. All right, so first thing they have to do is, in their situation, they have to pay a maintenance of 1 gold for each unit. So let me... yeah, 1 per unit. So let's add them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 bucks. So let's say they did that. They only have 3 bucks left. So holding on to 40 bucks is not necessarily a smart move on their part. They do have to pay for 2 units, or I'm sorry, they're going to lose 2 units after the purchase step. So they could choose to purchase nothing. But the good news is as a kingdom, their units cost less to purchase. And then of course there's the fleet thing. So let's look at their situation. This is their, so obviously this card's going to do nothing. During a reinforcement step, the target nation receives 1 extra leader. He lasts for 1 turn. I don't know what that means. So, oh, you know what, I know what it means. It means that they would get a Rex. So, I'm sure they have a Rex in here. Or a generic Satrapi's guy, that guy would be a leader. So they would get this guy for 1 turn. If they played that card. So he gets 1 campaign and he can have a stacking limit of +1. I don't know how good that is, but I mean, he does get an extra reroll, so yeah, we'll go ahead and play the card and do that. I don't know how else, like the yellow player doesn't control anybody else that's big besides the Persians. So, so I'm gonna go ahead and discard that event, and yes, we'll get that. And so you can see here, these are all leaders. This one's not available. Well, this one is available turn 2, so they can get a heavy elephant here as a special unit. They have generic archers, some heavy infantry, a whole bunch of generic infantry, and then of course the leaders aren't, they don't count. So looking at the price chart, the heavy elephants aren't listed, but they are a special rule. Persian elephants, starting with turn 2, they can purchase elephants. It's a normal double heavy unit. It's not elite. It counts as 2 heavy units when determining advantages. All right, so it's considered a normal heavy unit. So I would assume that that's like a heavy infantry. That costs 3 bucks for them to get this elephant. So let's say we want that elephant. That would be 3 of their dollars. They still have 3 left. They can get another heavy infantry for that, so we'll get another heavy infantry. And that would be everything, and that would allow them to continue to have their $40. Now, let's say I wanted to buy the whole kit and caboodle. Every regular infantry is $2 each. So 2, 4, 6, 8, that'd be $10. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just not going to buy the boats. So, so yeah, I'll buy everything there is. Let's do it. In doing so, there's only going to be $30 left over for the Persians, and we will do that. This, by the way, is going to give them $1 at the end of the round. So all right, so I don't need to keep this. And they go up to $30, so they would be 20 plus 10, like so. All right, now they randomly lose 2 units. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a d12. Well, what I'm going to do is, there's this stack, that's 1, that's another stack for 2. This stack is 3, this stack is 4, and this will be 5. All of these are 6, and that's 7, and I'll re-roll for an 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do this. So I rolled a 3, so 1, 2, 3, something from this stack is removed. I'm just going to count down from the top. I rolled a 6. So leader's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is an elite unit, so he takes a hit for the event. And then roll again. Rolled a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one was 5, so he takes a hit. And there you go. That's my 2 hits for this stupid card here. And they go away. And then we get to place these units. All right, so I'm going to put my leader on this guy. So that means I can have a stack of 5. And I'm going to put these 2 with him. So now he has a stack of 5. And technically speaking, I can't have this one. I mean, you're allowed to overstack during deployment. So yeah, I think we're fine. I'll just leave those guys there. And in fact, these 2 can be grouped together. And then we have a bunch of regular infantry units, 4 of them in fact. And I'm going to put them along with this guy, like so. So the Persians are ready to rock. Okay, that concludes the income step, which and purchases and revolts, subdual. I sort of did all of those in parallel. Next up is the military phase. That'll be a new video. I am down to 5% battery life, so I need to charge. I'll upload these videos, and maybe if there's time later tonight, I will do some more. It's a work night, so I have to behave. And anyways, thank you for watching. Again, it's an interesting game. Man, the income and everything, it just takes so long. And you know, if there was 4 of us here, I think you guys would help me with the math and remembering the rules. Like, that's the part that I think having 4 people here would be helpful, because everybody has their own player aid, they can figure out their own stuff. But man, oh man, the whole calculating the income, it's maybe once everybody becomes really good at it, you can just trust that other people know what they're doing. But I think you're going to want people to show you how they got to their number, because there's just so many things. And I'm sure I got a few things wrong. But anyways, again, thanks for watching. Stay awesome.